I'm Brittany, and this is Hanging with Home Experts. I'm here with AJ and Elite Appraisals. Thank you for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we are going to talk about the appraisal process. First of all, what is an appraisal?
Well, appraisal for homes is actually finding its the value, the way it sits, or in a futuristic value. I can do that as completed, if you will, but mainly it's just saying this house on this certain date, this is what it's worth.
Okay.
So
Appraisals are part of the mortgage process. Are appraisals always required?
I would say 90% of the time. There are certain guidelines and bank has where they can exclude appraisals, but in turn, yes, I would say most of the time they are. Mainly it's to secure the bank or whoever's going to hold the paper that they're getting the value to loan the money on, if you will. So to protect the bank, they want to know, is this worth X amount of dollars? And then they'll give you the money.
For sure.
If that makes sense.
Okay, so what is it that you look for when you're conducting an appraisal?
Well, everybody's heard location, location, location.
Sure.
So that's extremely important, and that's one of the biggest parts of it in terms of what the ground's worth, if you will. So from there you go, and then you break down square footage, condition, amenities, and go from there. So, but location is very, very important. And, you know, certain houses can be huge, but in not a desirable neighborhoods.
So you'd say location is like the number one factor?
Very, very, very much important. So,
okay.
Yep.
So after location, what do you think the next two things are that you're going to look at that's going to bring the most value to the appraisal?
Now you're talking about where to put your money if you want to increase the value. I mean, sure. Or that's probably, you know, everybody says, great realtors say kitchens and baths. That's great point. Basement finish is very important, but I always feel like a lot of times people over improve basements.
Okay.
They put too much. And what I mean by over improve, if your neighborhood only will support X amount of dollars in basement finish, it's not time to go put crazy amounts, you know, but in the higher scale homes, you can put more money. But I always hate somebody doing incredible build jobs in a $300,000 houses and then finish the basement that's, oh my gosh, it's so nice, but you probably over improved your basement,
right,
if you will. So.
For sure. Some people, you know, adding that extra bedroom, is there like a dollar amount assigned to, okay, so there's a fourth bedroom instead of three? And
you're talking about in basements?
Anywhere, I guess, but well, probably the basement would be the most.
Well, if you're adding above grade square footage, you can add bedrooms, you can add a living room. It doesn't really break down to very seldom do I make adjustments for bedrooms.
Okay.
Because a lot of it, unless it's out of the norm. If you're in a land of houses that are 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, having a 3-bedroom is a problem, you know, and it's called an obsolescence, and you'll have to address it, and it'll probably reflect in the sale because you'll lose buyers that are wanting the 4th bedroom, if you will. Now, regarding the basement and the egress and it's below grade area, and bedrooms aren't as important in my opinion, because it falls under the actually amount that's finished in the basement. Because the best way I could say it is, and somebody asked, I could go downstairs and refinish a basement and put 12 more bedrooms in there.
Sure.
And they want to call it a 12-bedroom or a 15-bedroom house, and that's not really bringing value. So mainly, baths are probably more valuable than bedrooms, but it's really kind of falls down to the quality of finish. And the amount finished also. If that makes you know, there's certain cases, but overall, that's kind of my opinion.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, okay, so that's the home side. So do you also do like land appraisals?
Do land appraisals also. That's kind of, it's a shorter form, and mainly it's what realtors do. We're pulling in now. there's a difference between the land and appraisal and an ag appraisal. And the ag appraisal is really getting into the dirt and what crops it can be.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. If it's just there's a lot that's 7 acres and I want to know what that absolutely. I am qualified to do ag appraisals, but I don't do them.
Sure.
But it's more of a specific appraiser, if you will.
Okay, so and then most of the time we talked about these appraisals take place as part of the lending process, as part of the mortgage process. But you also do pre-appraisals for sellers, right?
I do a lot of times. And it's usually kind of one of those things where you're kind of a wide range and you know, just you want to call in and I'm an expert at valuing properties, if you will, and get pulled in quite a bit. I do a lot of realtor appraisals before to help pricing and actually maybe manage expectations, if you will.
Sure,
sometimes where it's like hearing it from an appraiser might give a little bit more worth, because we've all had, you know, you've all had clients where think it's X amount of dollars, and reality is you probably were pushing down on the other side, and you might want some help there also. But it could be a really tough appraisal, you know. Well,
and you factor in like market conditions and stuff like that into that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and we're right now, you know, they don't want to say, well, we're in a declining market, because we're not, but we've been going so crazy for the last 4 years that I would call it more of a settling market, if you will.
Like bringing us back down to reality.
That's correct. That's correct. So
Okay.
that's kind of, but that is actually affecting everything, because things aren't selling in one day anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and
okay, awesome. Well, you've given me a lot of information. And yeah, so thank you so much for your time. And if you are an agent looking for a pre-appraisal, in the Kansas City area, you work on Missouri and Kansas side, right?
I do both sides.
Okay, yeah. So Elite Appraisals can help you with that. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. That was fun.